Okay guys, so it's been a long time since I made 2 videos in a row for my channel. Like I said yesterday, I'm super hopeful that I'm going to be doing this again. And so I really want to get back into it and try to grow the channel more. So today I want to talk about Fabian Wagner, one of the cinematographers for Justice League. He's worked with Zack Snyder a lot. Most of you are probably familiar with him. So he has been very vocal, as most of you probably know, about Justice League and all the changes that were made, the Snyder Cut, it has become known as, the Snyder Cut, released the Snyder Cut movement, all of that. And of course, since Zack Snyder has been sharing a lot of stuff from his cut of Justice League, we saw pictures of Darkseid, we saw behind the scenes pictures, we saw a bunch of cool stuff, right? That everyone was just like, ugh, it's bittersweet to see it because it's awesome to know that this stuff was actually supposed to be in the movie, but at the same time, super disappointing that we didn't actually see it come to be realized in front of us. We also saw how he planned on Steppenwolf being defeated via Wonder Woman's goddess powers, let's just say, strength. And of course, big bombshell, when Jason Momoa went to see Zack Snyder recently in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is where I spent a lot of my childhood, by the way. Zack Snyder showed him this Snyder Cut, and Jason Momoa confirmed that for us on social media, said that that was absolutely amazing. But Fabian Wagner is continuing with his vocal display of what he thinks about the Snyder Cut. So this time it's referring to comments that he made to Comic Book Debate, the media outlet that also is all this superhero stuff, but there's been lots of other outlets sharing this story. They were asked, obviously, if he saw the theatrical or Whedon's cut of Justice League. He said, I have, unfortunately. But he continued, he kept, when he was talking about how much changed when Whedon took over from Zack Snyder, he said that it's really hard to say because I was watching it and I think I was crying all the way through. So it's hard for me to say exactly how much has changed, but a lot was changed. It looked very different, and it's sad for me because I loved working with Zack. I had the best time of my life. There were many other things in that movie that made it so good, apart from the fact that I was working with Zack and the whole gang. I met my wife on that job. There were a lot of other things. It was just a great shoot, and so it was a shame to see the film the way it turned out to be. So, not a whole lot of comments, but a lot packed into that little bit of statement that he did make, that he pretty much cried watching it, and obviously he didn't mean like happy tears of elation that it was such an amazing movie. No, they were sad, hurt tears. And oh my goodness, that just coming from someone that is so close to Zack, that worked on the movie, that's worked with him before, that has so much respect for him as a director and a film creator, and obviously was excited to see Zack's vision come to life. And then, of course everyone knew Whedon was taking over, but we didn't know exactly how much was going to be changed until we actually saw the movie, because Warner Brothers was sticking with this narrative that, oh, it's still Zack Snyder's movie and he's just doing the same reshoots that Zack Snyder would have done, so we're not changing anything. And obviously that was that was the farthest thing from the truth, right? When the theatrical cut was released. So I know that it's already been a long time since Justice League came out, and some people are like, get over it, but it's just like this stuff continues to come out about the movie. And we have all these people confirming that, yes, obviously Zack Snyder's version of the movie is very different, which I don't think we really need people to confirm that. We don't need people who were in the movie and who worked on the movie to tell us that. All you have to do is watch the movie. And if you saw any of the trailers, then you know it's completely different. If you went in completely blind and didn't see one speck of a trailer, then you might not realize how much was changed. I mean, obviously, it was supposed to be a completely different movie. And I love that Zach is just like, he finally was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and share stuff. And obviously he sees what fans have been saying about it. He has not seen the theatrical cut, which I don't blame him for, and I hope he never does, because I think it would just make it worse, add salt to the wound. So, like I said, we don't need for all these people, Kevin Smith and all these people, to confirm that all these cinematographers and people to tell us that, yes, obviously Zach had a whole different movie in mind and they shot all of this stuff. And Zach said on Vero, if I draw it, I shoot it. In other words, if he draws it out, which he shares a lot of those storyboards on Vero as well, then that means he shoots those scenes. Yes, obviously there was CGI and visual effects and all that stuff that had to be finished, but that doesn't mean he didn't shoot those scenes, So obviously he was working on the movie for a very long time, over a year, before he stepped away. So I don't know what people think he was doing that whole time. For people that say, oh, it doesn't exist. Well, what do you think he was doing that whole time? Obviously he was making the movie, wasn't anticipating that he was gonna have to step away and have Joss Whedon take over. That wasn't anticipated by anyone. That was unexpected. And it's extremely obvious that they changed all this stuff. We saw all this stuff taken out from the trailers. We saw stuff that was changed from the trailers, stuff that people have shared who worked on the movie. Like, okay, people, I understand if you don't like Zack Snyder and you don't like his movies, that's fine. But it's obvious that it was a completely different movie that we were supposed to get. So sorry, I know I rant about this all the time, but like I said, more and more stuff just continues to come out about it. And I personally, like, not to be negative Nancy, I 100% support the Release the Snyder Cut movement. You guys know that for sure if you've followed my channel. But I honestly, I don't want to get my hopes up about ever being actually, like, I don't think it's ever going to come out. I don't think Warner Brothers is ever going to release the Snyder Cut. Even in its unfinished form, I don't think that we're going to see it. I just personally think that Warner Brothers has too much pride. I don't know all the legalities that surround it. Like, obviously they could release it if they wanted to. I mean, Marvel released Endgame back into theaters with like 4 minutes of extra footage, some of which the CGI was awful. I didn't actually pay to go see it, but I saw obviously pictures and stuff of the Hulk CGI footage that was shared on social media. If they can do that, I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers can release an unfinished version of Justice League, and people are not even asking for it to be released into theaters. That's the whole thing. Like, we don't even care if it's unfinished. We don't care if it's not in theaters. We don't care if it's not on hard copy. Just release it digitally. And by the way, DC has their own streaming service now. You want people to subscribe to your streaming service, put it on there. Like, come on, like, I think that's the most obvious thing to do. People will pay to watch the unfinished version of Justice League. I don't know how many people have to actually say that themselves for Warner Brothers to get it. Like, we don't care. Don't finish it. Don't put millions of dollars into finishing the CGI and whatever else you gotta finish. Just release what you have. Obviously, Zack Snyder had something to show Jason Momoa. We want to see whatever that is. Okay? We're willing to pay for it. We don't care if it's temporarily available. Whatever. Just, like, come on. It's ridiculous. To me, it's ridiculous. They have a new CEO. I think it'd be awesome if that person was just like, give these fans what they want. They have supported you through all this nonsense. And you did this director wrong, So, I don't know. Sorry. I know I always rant when Justice League comes up. But it's just ridiculous. And like I said, I don't know. I would actually be more surprised if Warner Brothers does release it in some way than if they don't. Like, I would be absolutely shocked because I just think they have too much pride to do it. Because they know that it's a completely different movie. They know it's going to make them look like jerks for what they did to Zack Snyder and their fans, because it's going to be a completely different movie, and it's just going to expose what they did to his movie and to him, and lying to their fan base. And so, not that we don't already know, but it's just going to take it to, you know, make it come full circle. So I would actually be more surprised if they do release it. But Fabian Wagner cried, and I wanted to cry, and I didn't even see the Zack Snyder version, you know? Like, I told myself when I first watched it that I loved it, and there were things I loved about it. There were things I loved about it. I could probably count how many things I loved about it. And I think I just was so excited for this movie, and you guys saw my trailer reactions. If you haven't, go ahead and check them out. It was just so exciting. Like, the marketing was amazing for this movie. They made us so excited. Release the Snyder Cut, people. Release the dang Snyder Cut. Do this man right. Like, don't even do it. You know what? Don't even do it for the fans at this point. Do it for Zack Snyder, for messing him over, and just do that for him. You know what I mean? I wish he could just release it himself. I think that with all these pictures he's been releasing, sharing on Vero, I think it'd be awesome if he just shared a clip of something we haven't seen. You know? That'd be cool. But I'm not gonna get my hopes up, because then I don't want to get disappointed. So, you know, I'm just trying to be more realistic about it, I guess, than hopeful. But definitely support the release of the Snyder Cut movement, and I always will. So anyway, I just wanted to make a video about that. Again, thanks guys for the support. I really hope to keep growing the channel. I want to get back to doing this regularly again, because I definitely miss it for sure. And if you didn't watch my video from yesterday talking about this amazing hype about the Joker movie, then go ahead and check that one out. And I have links in the description. I have links for my Patreon account. I also have links for Activewear apparel, which is not geekwear apparel, but it is activewear, for which I'm an ambassador for now. So you can go ahead and use my link to shop that Activewear apparel. They have beautiful apparel for men and women. So go ahead and check that out. And thanks guys again for watching. We'll see you next time.